My name is Mike. My username on GitHub is br8kpoint. I have made a Atem mini touch portal plugin for touch portal system, and I would like to share that with you, how to install it and set it up in touch portal so that you can control your Atem and switch sources on it with the plugin that I've created to be able to combine that with the other things that Touch Portal can do. So let's get started. So the first thing that you need to do is go to my GitHub repository. So it's br8kpoint/touch-portal-atem. I'll leave the link in the description of the video so you can get to that. Once you're there, you need to go to the releases here, currently release version 1. So you click on that. And then depending on the computer that you're using, we have a Mac version or a Windows version. And so you need to decide which version you're going to download. I'm on a Mac right now, so I'm going to click to download that, and then it's downloaded here. So we can just open that once it's finished downloading here. Actually, we don't need to open that. We'll go to Touch Portal. And in Touch Portal, we go to the wrench icon here. We go to Import Plugin. And then we go to our downloads where it was downloaded. We click on the Touch Portal TPP file and click Open there. It will install the program. Plugin was successfully installed. Click OK. That's fine. Now the plugin will be installed properly. Now what you need to do is actually go and configure the plugin. The way that the plugin actually works and is controlled for the Atem is the plugin needs to control the Atem via the network interface for the Atem plugin. So I'll actually show you here. So I've got in the upper right corner here, got the Atem here, and this is my iPad with Touch Portal running on it. But you can see here that we've got the network cable hooked up to it, and then I've got the USB to actually go and put the video back into my computer to see the video hooking up into OBS. So the thing that we need to do is actually grab the IP address of the Atem Mini in order to put that into the settings of the plugin. So I'll switch back to the other view there, and then we will go here. And so we need to click on the gear icon here, and then we go to plugins here. Then we select here the plugins here. I only have one here right now. Click on that, and then here you're going to set the IP address of your Atem Mini here, and you can find that by going to your Atem control software and just grab that, set to whatever you want your IP address to be there. So I just usually copy that there and then just paste it in to here, save that, and then everything is set up in the plugin there. So the next thing that you need to do is actually set up your buttons to use the different events and button actions on that. So we'll go to pages here. I'll create a new page for this. We'll call this Atem tutorial. Actually, we'll just call it Atem. Okay, and now what we'll do is we can make a new button here. We'll call it, let's call it scene 1. Actually, before we do that, well, we'll just, yeah, before we do that, we'll set up OBS with the scenes that we want to run on that. So let's bring it back to OBS. And actually, I've already got the scenes set up here. So you can basically, I won't walk you through setting up the scenes for the Atem. I'll just quickly show you how I set that up. I'll just rename this scene here as scene 1. And that scene 2. So basically what you need to do for setting up your OBS scenes is set up your scenes and have each scene have the source of the Atem as the Blackmagic design. You click on here, and then this is going to be your Blackmagic design here. So if we actually show the source, you can see I've got the Blackmagic hooked up to a video player that I have, and then the other source, switch to the split screen where you can see there the Atem there. So source 1 basically has the video player. Source 2 has actually, get that back up on the screen, just has a Raspberry Pi desktop there. So that has what is the sources of what's hooked up to the Atem Mini there, so that you can see how, when we come to the demo, how it will actually work on that. So basically what you need to do is just set the scene here, each of the scenes that you want to set up for OBS in the different scenes, and I've actually got it set up so that you can have the multiple scenes using the same Atem source as different scenes, but I've got each scene can be, you know, laid out however you want on that. And the power comes in with using the touch portal buttons to be able to, in connection with clicking on the buttons in either on the Atem or on touch portal, to switch the scenes in OBS, and everything will all work together to do however you want to make your program work. So we've been using that at our church to make everything work really well in connection with OBS, touch portal, the Atem, and multiple moving parts, but it all works well to bring everything in. So you just set up the scenes here for the one scene here, and then the other scene is again the same source of the Atem. So now we'll go to the touch portal here, and we'll actually set up the touch portal buttons here. So we have scene 1 here, and generally what I do is we'll set up the scene, and what the plugin does, I'll show you this. Here we have an Atem category, and here we have two different things. We have a button action, and we'll set this so it's going to switch the source. And so when we hit scene 1, it's going to switch the scene to the source of scene of source 1 on the Atem. And so that's the first action that it's going to do when you hit the scene 1 button on that. After that, we're going to go to the OBS category here, and we're going to set the scene here, and we're going to select the scene to scene 1 on that. So that's good there. Then I also set up for myself, you can set it up, but I like the workflow of this. You're going to set up events on this. So the first thing I do is set up events to indicate which button is actually active on which scene is actually active, so people can see which is the right scene. So on scene selected, we set that event, and then we say if scene 1 is selected, and then what I do is go into the visual category here, and I'm going to change the button visuals here. And then usually what I do is just change the background color to a different color. Sync that up, and should be all that's necessary just to change something on that. OBS on scene selected, and then we'll say is not, and then scene 1, and then we'll go back up here to the visuals, and we're going to change the visuals back here, and I just basically go back and make the transparent. You can do whatever you want. You can change the icons. Touch Portal is great. I love the flexibility that it gives you, but you can basically go and change the transparency back to a transparent background there. So that's how you can set the indication of which is the active scene in there. Then the other thing that I do for this, and this is the key point for the Atem integration, we have this other action for when the Atem source is selected, and we're going to add this event as well. And so when the Atem source is 1, then we're going to do an action, and this action is going to be the reciprocal action of setting the scene. So the scene here is going to be set scene to scene 1. So that is going to basically, when you actually push scene 1 on, when you push the source 1 on the Atem here, then it's going to make sure that it's going to set the switch the scene to scene 1 in OBS. So that is good there. So once I have one button set up, then I can just use the copy function of the button, which is great. And then I'm going to paste it to the next one there. And then I'm just going to edit this here. So we're going to make this scene 2 here. And then we're going to change the parameters here. So we change this one. It's going to be scene 2 or source 2. And then we're going to change this to 2. On the event, we're going to is scene 2, and then is not scene 2. Then down here, we're going to say when the Atem is source 2, we're going to change the OBS scene to scene 2, like so, on that. Then the other thing that I like to do in order to get to this actual page here, I'm going to go back to my main page, and then I have this page that will be my navigation pages here. So I'm just going to copy this button here, I'm going to make a new one here, paste it to here, and then I'm going to edit this here, call it Atem, and then I'm going to change it to navigate to the Atem page here on that. And then for completeness sake, going back to go to my tutorial page, I have a page here that says go to main. I'll just copy this button here, and then I'll go to my Atem page, and then I will just paste it here so that I have the button to go back to my main pages. So there we go, and that should be good. Now it's demo time. So we will go to we've got the Atem here. So we will refresh here. And now we have the Atem button down here. So we can go to the Atem. And now we can see, you can actually see, I'll get rid of the touch portal on here. You can actually see that in OBS scene 2 is actually selected, and so you can see that the indication of the active scene is working right for the events on that. So I'm actually going to set my video stuff going on that, so you can actually see. Desktop went away. So if I were now to switch to scene 1, then you can see it goes to the scene 1, and then if I switch, you can see that it switched to source 1 on the Atem here, right there. And then if I were to switch to scene 2, then it switches in scene 2 on OBS, and it also switches the source as well to the source 2 on the Atem. Now the reciprocal of that, right now it's scene source 2 and scene 2, and you can basically, if I push the source on here, then watch, it will switch to scene 1 on OBS and switch there, and then vice versa as well. And so that is how you get bidirectional communication between the Atem touch portal and OBS communication through the plugin. There's a lot more features of the Atem. I do not use the down key and up key of the sources for transparency and overlays for the Atem. We use other things for just using OBS to do that, but I know that a lot of people use that, and so the plugin itself doesn't have the integration for that. The underlying software plug that I'm using to control the Atem Mini does have the ability to do that, but I need to work on actually integrating that into the Touch Portal plugin. So if you are interested in being able to control the different sources of the downstream key, the upstream key, and other things like that through the actual buttons in Touch Portal with the different settings on that, let me know, and we can maybe try and work out what the next feature would be for the plugin to work with. But my use case is that I'm using it with OBS, and I really only need the source selection. And really the source selection is only on the program bus, because that's the only bus that I really need in order to do that. Your workflow may be different. You might be using preview bus and stuff. You need that. I can extend the plugin, but for right now, I don't really need that, so it's not there. Let me know if you like this video, like it. I have a channel under the called Atem under the Touch Portal server for support for the plugin. If you want to discuss new features for the plugin, go ahead there. If you have issues with the plugin, please go there. And there's also an issue page on the GitHub repository to discuss issues or feature requests on that, so you can use that as well. Links will be in the description for the Discord and the GitHub repository. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you will like this plugin and find it useful.